in this game, I've always said it comes down to reacting. And when that play is called, when Josh gives the play call to that 40 seconds that you have to call the play, it really comes down to how you react faster than the defense of executing. And, have I done it consistently? Not to my liking, but I'm getting there. It's just a learning curve. It's just learning, each and every day.
Okay, time now for an executive slant as we're joined by our Super Bowl winning general manager, Scott Pioli. Scott, looking at Cam Newton here, he's got career lows in passing yards per game with under 200. Coming off a game where he had a career low in passer rating at just over 20, although it did come in a win. Has Cam Newton done enough to earn a new contract with the Patriots for next season?
Rhett, I would say let's start here. He hasn't done enough bad things for them not to consider. And I think that's where you have to start. They still have 5 games left this season. In addition to that, hopefully the playoffs. And one thing I know about this program, there is constant evaluation. So they're deciding right now what way he's trending. And the other thing that they want to do is they want to see what Cam is like in December. They want to see what Cam is like in January, because that is an enormous part of the evaluation of any quarterback. So I think that they're probably leaning one way or another. And the good news for Cam and the good news for the Patriots is that he hasn't done anything poorly or that badly to write him off. Again, Cam was trending in a very good direction before he came down with COVID. So I would say that things are probably good, trending in a favorable direction for him.
Another quarterback situation on the docket here, talking about the situation in Philadelphia with Carson Wentz and how Doug Peterson has handled it. It's a quarterback situation that seemingly gets more complicated and maybe more concerning each week. How do you feel like the Eagles should be navigating the criticism that they've received, both with Doug Peterson and with Carson Wentz?
Yeah, well, criticism is always going to come. And what I say, Rhett, is, Doug Peterson did not become a bad coach overnight. Carson Wentz did not become a bad football player overnight. The truth is that there's been some injuries. Those injuries have been very, very significant, and they really do impact the performance. But one thing that we've all learned about this game, and Doug knows this and Carson knows this, is nobody cares about your problems. Everyone has them, and nobody cares. So I really think that what they have to do is hopefully be cut enough slack so people don't overreact. The other thing you have to remember with Carson is he signed this record contract a couple of years ago, and I think that Carson understands this, that with, to whom much is given, much, much more will be required. So when he signed that contract and he demanded that contract, the expectations skyrocketed for Carson Wentz.
Let's move on to Chicago here, where they've switched quarterbacks a number of times now. They've switched play callers, and still this Bears offense is next to last in total offense. How do they fix it, Scott?
Yeah, well, Brett, there's only so much that you can do in season to fix an offense or a defense and an overall team. So right now, the things that they have to do is correct the correctables. And where they stand right now is they are 8th in the NFL in penalties committed, but they're also 8th in the NFL in turnovers. So one way that you can fix the offense is to make sure that you stop doing the things that really lose games, which is turnovers and penalties. Everyone knows that this quarterback decision is coming next year, and it's going to be, a tough decision for the people that are in charge. And I think my best guess is that next year for 2021, there's a very, very strong chance that the Bears starting quarterback for next season is likely not on that roster right now, Rhett.
I wouldn't be surprised if they have a completely different quarterback room for 2021, 1 through 3 or 4. Scott Pioli, thanks very much. Well, even though a traditional Pro Bowl won't be played this year, we need you to vote for your favorite players to be Pro Bowlers. Just go to NFL.com/Pro Bowl vote to cast your vote. And NFL Network will reveal this year's rosters for the Pro Bowl presented by Verizon a bit later this month. And Derrick Henry, one of the leading vote getters so far. Good reason why. Nick Chubb probably in that conversation as well, if not for the injury. But check out these guys and their status as closers. Highest rushing yards per game since 1991 in second half of games, just ahead of a couple of Hall of Famers you might recognize there. These two guys and these teams know how to close out games in 4-minute offense. Back here with LT and TD. TD, I mean, it was a pretty good effort by you as well there to get on that list.
Yeah,
so
I tried, man. I tried, right?
Let's look at this matchup between these two teams and these two running backs here, Nick Chubb and the Browns, Derrick Henry and the Titans. And TD, which running back do you feel like needs to have a bigger day for their team's success?
Wow, man. I think it has to be Derrick Henry. And here's why. You know, the Titans, they do a lot of play action. As a matter of fact, 35% of their drop back passes are through play action, action there. And so Tannehill is more effective when he can drop back, stick that ball out, pull it back in, and go down the field. As a matter of fact, he's been very successful in doing that. He's first in yards, he's third in yards per attempt, and he's tied second for passing touchdowns when they can do the play action. And if you stop Derrick Henry, that offense just completely fizzles. So for me, Derrick Henry is the cog. He is the straw that stirs the drink. And if you stop him, he doesn't have a big day, then that means Ryan Tannehill's day won't be as big. So I'll say that the Titans need big boy to move.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, T. They have to have Derrick Henry run well to be successful. You know, when you look at the Browns and Nick Chubb, they got Kareem Hunt in the backfield as well. And when Nick Chubb was absent, Kareem Hunt did a heck of a job. But we haven't seen Derrick Henry be absent yet. They need this big man in the game, as you mentioned. And I want to show you why they need him. Because their identity is about running. It doesn't matter how many people up in that box. It's 8 men up in the box here. Watch this play. This is an inside zone, a little gut. The tight end comes across, kicks out the linebacker, and look at the hole inside. This is, again, 8-man front. And he's going to get through there in open field, and nobody wants to tackle that big man once he's in open field. Again, here we go. Look at the men in the box. There's 9 men in the box. Guess what Ryan Tannehill is going to do? You think he's going to check to a pass? No way. We're checking to a run. Big man, get the football inside zone. Watch the cutback. The blocking is great. And oh, Nelly. Once he's in open field, as I mentioned before, you miss a tackle. Now this big man can run. He's out running DBs. He's out running Carl Lewis. He's out running Michael Johnson. It doesn't matter who you put out there on the field. This big man can roll now, and that's why they're so successful. It doesn't matter how much they're down by. They can be down by 14. He's going to continue to run the football. That's their identity.
And then, of course, they get the explosive plays in the pass game from A.J. Brown. Off that, it is a tough offense to deal with in Tennessee. Thanks very much, guys, for a look inside the numbers with this Titans-Browns matchup. Here's PFF's George Shahuri.
2 8-3 AFC teams meet on Sunday, one of which is a massive surprise, and the other that everyone probably should have seen coming. The Browns have amassed 8 wins under Kevin Stefanski, despite the loss of OBJ and a below-average campaign from Baker Mayfield. Meanwhile, the Titans made it all the way to the AFC Championship last year and returned one of the best passers and pass catchers in the NFL with Ryan Tannehill and A.J. Brown. In Cleveland, the Browns' success has come despite Baker Mayfield's play. Mayfield ranks just 22nd in PFF grade among quarterbacks, with basically the same grade he had in last year's disappointing season. The Browns ranked just 21st in offensive efficiency on first and second downs last season. But that number is up to 7 this year, and a lot of that increase should be attributed to Kevin Stefanski and his usage of pre-snap motion and play action. Not to mention what has been one of the best offensive lines, dare I say, the best offensive line in the NFL this season. That unit ranks first in PFF pass blocking grade and second in run blocking. The Browns also have something that the Titans simply do not, when one of the most unstoppable defensive forces returns to the field this weekend. Myles Garrett will be looking for a bit of a bounce back in this one. Since earning an 80-plus grade in 3 of his first 4 games, Garrett has not cracked 75 since. And Myles will be looking to slow down a Titans offense that is known for its run game, but makes some serious money by throwing the ball and throwing it as well as anyone. Ryan Tannehill, A.J. Brown, and Corey Davis headline a passing offense that ranks first in passing efficiency on first and second downs. And that's by a good margin, with a team called the Kansas City Chiefs still playing. Davis and Brown rank 6th and 11th respectively among all wide receivers in PFF grade this season, with Brown again showcasing his elite skills after the catch, leading all wide receivers with at least 30 receptions in yards after the catch per reception. The Titans have the talent on offense to get themselves back to the AFC Championship, but the Browns and their elite offensive scheme will look to pull off an upset and continue a season that no one believed would actually happen.
This is NFL